Hello, dear friends. How are you today? Today, friends, we're going to walk you down a few things. Some big news we have today to talk about. Ryan Poles is thinking about quitting. Yes, you've heard that right. Ryan Poles is ready to run out the door. He's having problems with management, according to the talk on the town. He's having problems with ownership. He's having problems with Kevin Warren, and he's ready to run. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I blame him for some of the mistakes he's made. The 7 promises I'm about to go over with. 7 things that he said were going to happen under his leadership. And I want you to be the judge. You leave the comments. You let me know if these 7 things I go over, if you feel that out of these 7 things he accomplished or if he did not. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to give you what I see. And I really want you guys to let me know what you think. Big important thing as well, this channel is going in a new direction. The pessimism that this bears and the storm, the dumpster fire right now that they're in, I'm not interested in going down the ship with them because there's so much drama surrounding them right now. There's a lot of negativity surrounding the Bears right now. And it's somewhere that I personally, for my own well-being, don't want to dive down. It's just, I find myself just negatively diving down this tunnel. And we're going to maybe go a different direction with this channel. I'm not sure what that is yet. Maybe it's going to be just, here's the facts, here's the news, this is what happened. Yes, we lost or we won, get in, get out. We'll see where it goes. But there's definitely going to be a change in the way and the format that I do things. So going forward, we're going to try to stay positive. That's what I've always wanted to be. But losing 7 games in a row, we are definitely in some dark times, friends. Some Mark Trestman era, some worst of the worst times for Chicago Bears. They are playing at their absolute worst I've ever seen. And garbage time stats, I'm learning something. See, we all learn. A lot of the stats that are happening for Caleb Williams, I've discovered. You want to know why he has no interceptions? Because the boy won't throw the ball. Sure, you won't throw interceptions when you're so scared of them that you are actually costing the team points. He is holding that ball so long that we are in a serious problem right now. I've never been a quarterback fan. I've always been, I've mentioned this before on my channel, a defensive player type of a fan, which I can get critical on that too. But quarterbacks just always seem to let me down in this town. I start to love them and I feel a betrayal. But it hasn't been that way with Justin Fields. I love that guy, but I knew he just wasn't the guy to carry a team on his back, on his arm, and just win us a game. He couldn't do it. I'm going to go over some stats at the end, a little bit of a comparison, but I really don't want to go down that train forever either. But this is Bears news, and sometimes you have to know the future, you have to understand the past. So we're going to go over the 7 things that Ryan Poles said that he promised that I believe he didn't deliver on. Number 1, build through the draft. I believe he failed. He failed on that for 2 years in a row. He drafted Caleb Williams, who they felt Justin Fields wasn't the guy. Okay, right now he's playing not so well. He is showing signs. Some of the bad things he was doing in college, he is now amplifying them and playing in some moments worse than he ever has in his career. But I believe that is because he plays for this Chicago Bears team. This team is in such a disarray. Both quarterbacks have seen 2 different head coaches back to back. There's a really crazy pattern going on here. From John Fox, who did not choose Trubisky. Then Matt Nagy had to inherit Mitch Trubisky. He never liked that guy, obviously. He treated him terribly. Got rid of him, drafted Justin Fields. Then from Justin Fields, we went into, we have Matt Eberflus. Then Matt Eberflus, we got rid of Justin Fields. Now we're going to go with Caleb Williams. And you see this cycle. There's just an endless cycle of just bad choices. And in the draft, we needed to build through the trenches, get O-line, D-line, start brick from the bottom. You build a house, you build anything from the bottom up. And everyone knows this, you build from the trenches. And Bears refuse to do that. They want to sprinkle names over here and sprinkle a flashy little key over here. Oh, look, we got Caleb Williams, a generational talent. We got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen from over here. We're picking up everyone else's second hands. goods to try to build something that is an absolute failure on every level. On every level, this goes back to ownership, and it goes back to ownership in the whole thing, management, because the ownership has their hands in this. And the rumor is also that he refused to let he refused to let Ryan Poles fire Matt Eberflus last year. He wanted to stick it out because they promised him this long contract. Number 2, selective in free agency. Chase Claypool, last year's decision to grab him, is haunting us this day. We are down draft picks. We gave away draft picks for that guy. That guy is no longer playing in the NFL. No team wanted to pick him up. He got passed to the Dolphins. The Dolphins passed him to the Bills. He got hurt on his toe. The Bills said, thank you, we're good. Have a beautiful day. He's a free agent now. He is not playing in the NFL at all right now. The story writes itself. This is really bad. So in free agency, he didn't build up O-line. He didn't get any studs for the D-line or the O-line. He picked up Montez Sweat, and everyone thought that he was the King Poles. This man never crowned anyone king. In my opinion, there's only one. And it's not a human being. It is not Ryan Poles. We crown people kings before they've achieved anything. He has not achieved a playoff game, a Super Bowl, but everyone was calling him King Poles. That was his name. That did not age well. 3, relentless approach to fix our weakness. What? Relentless approach to fix our weaknesses. That's a failure. We are weaker now than we have ever been. Not by the players individually. I mean, the choices per se he picked some studs. But as a unit, he picks the worst. He put together the worst coaching system the last 2 years that I've ever seen play on the team. Ever seen involved. The worst coaching system of all time. He fired 2 offensive coordinators. And now we're on our we've now went through, we have Matt Eberflus now, he's gone. We had to fire 2 or 3 coaches last year. In total, it makes 6 coaches. That's all I know. 6 coaches have been fired since Ryan Poles took over. Number 4, maintain self-awareness of who we are. That's a really good question. Who are we? We don't run the ball well. We don't throw the ball well. We don't, special teams is terrible. We get kicks blocked. We can't even make a field goal. Who are we? Truthfully, that's a question I'd like to know. Who are we? Number 5, solve problems with open communication and candor. That's a joke. That's a joke. Because the number one thing that players keep speaking up about is a lack of communication. They keep saying it. You allow Eberflus to address the media at 9 in the morning and fire him by noon. That says to me, terrible communication. Communication to the guy that you were going to fire. Obviously, you fired him, and 3 hours later, you let this guy go on the news. Then, bad communication to all of us. As one small example, players spoke out about this problem. And number 6, we are going to constantly put players in position to succeed. That's not true. That was a lie. This team hasn't played this bad in certain areas since 1991. The defense has regressed to a worse state than they were the 6 games that ended last year. They are in a worse state than the beginning of last year under a different system. Well, different quarterback, different everything. We're in a worse shape than we ever been. Well, in the last, how many years? We're in the shape that we were when we fired Matt Nagy. And number 7, the worst line of them all. We're going to take the North and never give it back. That didn't happen. We haven't seen the playoffs in how many years now? We haven't seen the playoffs since Ryan Poles came on. The last time we seen the playoffs was under Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. We haven't even been close to the playoffs. I get it. You had to blow up the team in 2022. Destroy Justin Fields' numbers. And we'll get into that now. Justin Fields' numbers. In the 3 years, he had 2 head coaches, 2 offensive coordinators, and 2 general managers. That resulted in very abysmal numbers for him. Fields' win record, he won 10 games with us and lost 28. He had 1 300-yard game. 1 300-yard game with the Chicago Bears. He was sacked 135 times. 5th worst in Bears history. Rebuild killed him in 2022. Friends, Fields got done wrong. Caleb Fields is being set up for failure, and they're pretty much broken him. I don't imagine him coming back next year. Super Bowl? Playoffs? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Not the way this team does business. If they sold a team, if I saw actual wins, I could see something. But we are losing games that we should win and losing games that we should lose in the worst possible way we could lose them. It is just, we're getting blown out. And a lot of ways, this team has given up. The players, I believe, have lost all morale. The players are showing it on the field, that they are not playing with hustle and spirit and energy and fire, because they know the season's over. They know this. They know their quarterback is broken and is either overthrowing or refusing to throw the ball. I'm telling you, imagine as a player, when you're out there hustling, trying to get open, and you are open, and there was a few touchdowns that he left a wide open player. I believe it was Keenan Allen or with DJ Moore that was open as could be, and he just missed it. He didn't throw it. And now he's stuck in, I'm afraid to throw interceptions. So his numbers now are padded. He's got this long record now of most games without an interception. He's got no interceptions because he doesn't throw the ball. He just gets sacked. Ridiculous. He's 20 sacks more than the worst quarterback of sacks. We're just talking sacks. He has 20 more than the quarterback behind him. I don't know who that is. But whoever has the most sacks, he has 20 more. That tells me that it's the O-line. Absolutely. This O-line is no good, but not as bad as people think. I'm realizing that. I'm learning something myself. The O-line isn't as bad as people think, but Caleb Williams is playing terribly. I mean, it's just, he's got an F. He's got an F right now. The last few games, Green Bay looked okay. Minnesota, he left a lot on the table. After looking over the tape, he left a lot on the table because he's afraid and he gets sacked too much. Because he's afraid to let go of that damn ball. But who's coaching that out of him? Who? Who's there? So everything's with a caveat with this team. So friends, that's what I got. There's some huge news I'm going to touch on finally. Rome Odunze's father. I think Rome Odunze is an amazing wide receiver. I believe his father should stay off social media and stop stirring the kettle. This causes nothing but bad energy and bad drama to the locker room. I'll tell you, if my son was playing on a professional sport and I got on social media saying something negative about his team, I don't care if it's a comment in response to another people's comment, this new era is an awful era with this social media. I tell you, it's terrible. But I would stay off social media. My kids would be infuriated with me if I got on the news and started running my mouth about their play and what would have happened, what should have happened. He's on a professional sport, I would think. My son's I need to stay quiet, let him do his job. And trust me, I'm learning this myself as a father to this day, that's been a mistake of mine, talking too much during games. And I have to learn that. That's a growing lesson from me as a father. Someone who's in the professional league, their parents should stay quiet unless there's a true tragedy, something, against their, discrimination, racial discrimination, something sexual discrimination, something that any parent would have the right to defend their child. But over how many yards that he would get, and that if he was on another team, he'd get 1,500 yards, and taxing those kind of things, bad energy for the team. From a father's point of view, that's a failure. I think it's wrong, and he shouldn't have done it. But Rome Odunze, you got to talk to your dad. No bueno. No bueno, man. It's not a good look. You guys, hope you guys have a wonderful week. Again, we're going to change the direction this channel is going. We'll see where this goes because, boy, I'll tell you, I don't enjoy making news that's so negative all the time. It really takes a lot out of you. It really does. So, friends, I hope you guys have a better week. Forget these Bears for the rest of the week. We'll talk Sunday before the game. I may leave a little prediction video, and we'll catch you guys in the week. Bye-bye.